Welcome to the workshop of day 3 of our MS Excel. Uh, yeah, I would say please keep your mic on mute. I believe my audio is reaching to everyone. Yeah, right. So let me first share my screen. So as discussed today, we are going to start working with our file name called data analysis. So go to our file, the folder what I've shared with you, and there we have a file name called data analysis. So here, when you go and click on that file, you can see one sheet is open naming called summary table. So file name is data analysis and sheet name is summary table. Kindly confirm the same worksheet is open in front of your screen.
Yes, sir, it is open.
Great. Now you can notice there is a huge data over here. So let me first give you the background story of this data, what we have with us and what is the objective and what we are going to achieve out of this. Okay. Suppose say take an example, morning 9:30 I have dropped into office and immediately my boss called me. Pravas, please come to my cabin. I need to discuss something with you. So when I went to his cabin, immediately he started saying that Pravas, I was going through all the monthly reports. It was seeming as if some ready-made numbers we have downloaded from our SAP or ERP system, and nobody was happy with the presentations, whatever we have made. So let's do something different this time. Now, what is that exactly? He asked me, please log into the SAP system and get last 3 years revenue data. So when I logged into my SAP and given the transaction code and I downloaded a data set near about 1 lakh records, it comes in this format. Like customer name is there, product type is there, and these are the different products we manufacture over there in our plant. So basically, if you look at the products, you can make out this is a car manufacturing plant data we have taken of Tata Motors. And these are the sales representative engaged to generate the revenue. These are the different regions we export our products. Order date is nothing but billing date or invoice date you can consider. Sales in terms of US dollar or INR, anything you feel like you can take it. Year of incurrence of sale, month, quarter, and intermediate channel partner, if any, that name is also available. So if you see, there is a huge data over here. All right. Now, when I presented the same to my boss, he's not happy watching the same. And what he's telling me, he's saying, Prabhas, this data is of no use for me. You keep it with you. What I'm expecting over here is a simple report which states whatever the products we have sold during the last 3 years and how much revenue we have made. I want to have a report on this. Well, so we have a huge data and we know to summarize our data and present it, we have a data summarizing tool called pivot table or pivot table. Now, we have to use pivot table. We are very well aware of that. But we never pay attention to our data and we never try to realize whether our data is ready for pivot. So this is what most of the time people commits a mistake. So going forward, we are not going to commit that mistake anymore. So the first thing first, whenever you happen to prepare a pivot table out of any structure of data people, you must satisfy three validation rules. Rule number one, the data, whatever you have taken, the data must contain a column header. So without column header, pivot is not possible. So column header is essential. You should have the column header in your data. So if column header is missing, you should name it manually, column 1, column 2, and so on. And none of the column header name should be duplicate. If you want to retain customer in two columns, you can, but you should name it as customer, customer one, or customer one, customer two. So there should be a unique column header name. Now, rule number two, the amount of data, whatever we have downloaded, captured, everything, there should not be any blank cells at all. But how to check that? So if you remember, in day two, we discussed something about our data cleansing, that is data clean one, right? So keeping your cursor anywhere in the data, go for Control A and go for Control G, G for Gamma or G for Goa. Then go to dialog box, you will be finding a special tab is there. If you click it, there is a option over here called blanks. So you got to select this blanks and click OK. So when you click OK, you will be getting a message. Kindly confirm all of you have got this message, like stating no cells were found.
Yes, sir.
Right. So click OK. So now we have a confirmation that we do not have a blank cell at all over here. Right. Now rule number three, ensure that in your data set, in any of the column, data should not be merged. So there should not be any merged cells. Most of the time, what is the bad practice we have? We select multiple cells, we merge them, we define a header. That's meant for display, not for the calculations, because most of our Excel functionalities doesn't read our merge data. So it is always better avoid using your merge cells whenever you happen to go for any kind of calculations, though it is pivot or any other thing. Okay. Now, having said this, now our data is ready for next level. Okay. As I told you, in our day two, whenever you download the data from SAP or ERP, there are two areas always you will be finding the trouble. What are they? The column which contains number will not be in number format. The date column which contains the date will not be in date format. And unless and until we clean them, the data is of no use again. So let's see now. We we have the order date. Okay, so keeping the cursor in the first date value, select the rest. So when you select the rest, I told you the other day how to come back again. Anybody? When I select, I am going completely in the bottom side of my data. To come back again, what is the shortcut?
Control back.
Control backspace. Very good. So go for control backspace and you will be coming to the beginning of your data. Very good. Now we need to confirm our data, whichever the dates are there, whether they are in a proper date format or not. I told you in day one and day two as well to convert any format to date format. What was the keyboard shortcut? Anybody? To convert any format to date. Control Shift 3. Our AMC data we have selected, our data presentation sheet we have worked. So there are many more places we have already worked with this. So Control Shift 3. Now, can you see that the respective changes are happening? Data is now completely into a readable format. Yes. So this is a confirmation, people. Our date, since it is in a date format, that's why this said changes are happening and we are ready for next level. Now we'll go for our next sales USD, the billing column. Now, when you look at the billing column, keep your cursor in the first billing amount and select the rest. Come back again, control backspace. How to confirm that whether our numbers in billing column are there in proper number format? I told you in day two and day one as well. To convert any format to number format, what was the keyboard shortcut? Control Shift 1. Control Shift 1. Can you see respective changes are happening? Decimals coming up, post decimal two characters are appearing, and before decimal comma separator value also there. So all these things are happening. So it's again a confirmation that our numbers, whatever we have, it's there in proper number format. But post decimal having 00 unwanted characters doesn't make any sense. So to remove the same, what we do, as we discussed in day one also again, going to home, we can go for decrease decimal or we can go for Alt H9. So whichever it is comfortable for you, go for it and remove the unwanted zeros, post decimal characters from the data. So this is how we have understood that what is the quite easiest process, how to ensure that our data is there in proper date format and numbers in proper number
Sir,
format. To check that. Yeah.
can you repeat the formula again, like how to remove the decimal zero?
Alt H9 keyboard shortcut or going to home and go for decrease decimal.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, once we have done with this over here, next, what let's discuss. Though we have cleaned all our data, people, there is one more problem in our data set. Watch my screen very closely. This order date, year, and month. If you check, can you identify the problem?
Like months are not in sequence format.
It's not exactly the sequence. If you look at your date column, the month is showing of January, but month column showing December. Technically not possible. If you see your order date, the year showing 2019, but year column is showing 2014. Again, this is not possible. So these are the necessary columns. Again, people, we have to check. So how to check that? I told you in day one, if you want to extract a year from a date, what we do? There is a ready-made year formula we have. So going to the year formula in the year column, serial number it demands. So going to order date, and the moment you hit enter, this is going to give you first year. Now the same we can apply for others. Double click on the fill handle. So we have rectified our year column. Check and confirm. Is it working? Nothing new. We have already used the same in our day one. Hope it is clear. Working.
Yes, sir.
Prabhas,
Right.
I missed out. Just repeat one time.
Yeah, just in the screen that we are rectifying this year formula, that we are
Okay,
extracting the year from the order date by typing equal to year and taking the date reference.
fine.
Right. Now, similarly, going to our month column, how to extract a month from a date? Anybody can recall in day one already we discussed. We have used a formula called text. So this is the reason why I told you please practice well and come in day three. See, 1 week you did not utilize, you did not practice, and entire things has gone for toss, and you are back to square one. So there's no point. I told you, you keep the momentum going at least 10 to 20 minutes you should take out from your day and practice well on this. All right. So as I told you, these columns are very, very essential to generate our data, and text column will be helping you to bring our month. Suppose then you should take the date as a value, comma, format text. I told you within two double inverted quotes, you should go for M4 times. Now, why M4 times? Because we want the complete string or name of the month. Is it case sensitive? No. All these things we discussed. Now, once we got the answer, the same we can apply for others. So this is how we have rectified our month column also. So kindly check it out. Your year and month is rectified. Any difficulties, do let me know. So can I take that? All are clear? Whatever we did.
Yes.
Right. Now, once we have done with this, the next step, what we need to do, check it out. So once our data is ready, people, it is for ready for next level. So select your entire data by keeping the cursor anywhere, Control A, and convert your data into table. I told you in day one how to convert your data into table. What is the shortcut? Anybody? Quickly.
Control T.
Very good. So go and hit Control T, T for Tango, T for table. It will take you to a dialog box, something like this, and click OK. So your data will be converted into a tabular format. So this is how people, first 2 to 5 minutes is very, very essential to understand your data properly and doing the necessary checks with the column and bringing into a proper format. And finally converting the data into table, you are ready for pivot table. Okay. So far, whatever we have done, is it clear? Can I take that?
So after doing Control D, everything is getting copied on the page.
Everything? What is that?
So when I select this sheet
Uh-huh.
and then after that I do Control D,
Not
everything is
D.
getting same, sir.
It's not D, D for doll. I told you Control T, T for Tango, T for
T type.
table.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So now I believe we all are clear on the same page we are in. Okay. Now we are ready for next level. So let's see what else we can do over here to prepare a pivot table. Simple. Keep your cursor anywhere in the data and go to Insert. So when you go to Insert, the very first option you will be finding called pivot table. Now closely watch my screen. In this, there are two sections over here. One minute, just see. This is called your icon section, and this is called your navigation section. So always go for this icon section. Don't go for the navigation section, because if you navigate something like this, then some features of pivot will be missing. So I don't want you to face that problem. That's why always go for this icon to click. So when you go and click this icon, when you go and okay, so in this, what is happening? Let's see. Insert, pivot table, click the icon, and it will take you to a dialog box, something like this. You can notice this has taken the entire range, naming with a table called table 1. The number might be different, no issues, but you will be getting this entire thing range as a table 1. Now, where you want to place your report, it's a new worksheet. Always it is better to go for a new worksheet so that you can make your presentation neat and clean. Now click OK. So you'll be finding a new Excel sheet will be generated on the existing workbook, and towards your left, you will be finding over here a gray color box where pivot table is going to get designed. Within that, one gray color box is there. You will be finding the name is written as pivot table 1. So it's a message that whenever you prepare a pivot, it contains a unique name, and that is how the name has been defined. Now, towards my right side, if you look at, a column is there, a box is there where the entire column headers is listed over here. And this is called pivot table field list box. And towards my right side, you could see small, small boxes kind of structures are there. These are called pivot table field area. So we have only one job left now. Whichever the field we are looking for our report, we should go and drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, and drag and drop. So this is the only action we need to initiate over here. And this is what we need to do. But before that, if you look at my layout and your layout, if you compare, there are two different layouts it's displaying. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir. Different. It is different.
Right. So if you compare, my layout is giving more space to work with. Even there another 3 to 6 fields. If it turns up, I can still accommodate in that box. All right. So how to bring this kind of layout? Just see, there is a settings button over here. If you click that, the second option, it deals with our field section and area section side by side. Okay. So when you click that option, can you see you will be getting similar layout just like me? Kindly confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, now I got it.
Right. So once we have done with this, next step, this is just one time job. Every time you no need to do that. And going forward, whenever you open pivot, it will be coming up with this layout. Now, we have to drag and drop. I told you I can drag a field, but where to drop? We have got four different choices. For that, you need to follow a rule. What is the rule says? That whichever the field you take it, if it contains some numbers or numerical value, you must populate in this sigma value area. Reason? If you bring it in this particular box, you can play around with your formula functions like sum, count, average, minimum, maximum, product, all these things you can make it from this. So the report boss was asking last 3 years revenue data. Revenue data means billing column. Billing column means sales USD. Is it containing numbers? Yes. That you drag and drop it in the value field area. Always make a practice of drag and drop. Don't go for this checkbox to select. It will not always go to the desired field. So better have a control on your field, drag and drop. So we got one field in our pivot naming called sales USD. Now, what my boss was looking at last 3 years revenue data. So do we have a field called year? Yes. That one you take it to the columns. So you'll be getting your revenue data in three different columns. Now you can ask me a question, Prabhas, is it really mandatory that I should take year into the columns? Cannot I take into rows? Of course, yes, you can take that. It's up to you based on the need. If you go for rows, three row items will be coming up. If you go for columns, three column items will be appearing. Now you can ask me a question, Prabhas, why did you prefer to column rather rows? Because I have got something else to bring in the rows. Now, what is that? Based on the product. So product description, one field is there. That one you bring it to the row area. And now you could see a precise pivot table is ready and having the total of 31999253. Check it out. Are you getting the same?
Yes, sir. 319925.
Right.
But sir, in this, if you want to take a total of year wise for a bolt, like for a year, like if I want to take two model, so it is possible. For example, bolt and hexa. But it's possible, sir, how you can get a total of the two vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, see, when you want only bolt and hexa, you have to control that. Like from this filter button, you have to control that. Whatever you want, only bolt and hexa. You can select like this and click OK. So this is bolt and hexa's total, right?
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Anybody else is having any other question before proceeding further? I believe all of you have got the same setup, the way I'm explaining in the screen or showing on the screen. Okay. Anyway, so now the moment we have got this, people, though our pivot is ready, but we cannot dispatch this pivot table to the next level. Reason? As I told you, or I have been telling from day one, data anybody can prepare, but to make your data different, so you have to careful about your presentations part. So here, though our pivot is ready, you could notice the look and feel of the pivot is not great. Okay. So in this case, the first thing what you need to do, keeping your cursor in anywhere in this pivot table data, you could notice in the extreme right, one design tab will be activated. Design options, depending upon the version of your Microsoft Excel. So going to this design tab, if you see, there are many more styles are available. So if you go for the more tab over here, it opens with three broad categories: light, medium, and dark. Always go for light or medium. Do not go for the dark options because the more the dark color, again, file size will be more. So if I go and take one medium category out of this, you can notice compared to the previous version, now the look and feel of pivot is somewhat different. right? Clear? Now, as I told you in our day one, that when you have multiple columns of your table, the first column alignment should be always left, and rest of the columns alignment should be always center. And to make it center, we should go for Alt H A C, or going to home alignment, we can go for central alignment, right? So all these things we have already discussed, nothing new again. So once your table is ready, we should do that minimum formatting. Now, once we have done with this, next step, just say this bold, Genix Nano, Hexa, Indica, what are they? These are our products, right? But if you look at the header, it shows row labels. Similarly, 2019, 2020, 2021, these all are our years, but it is showing column labels. So this is the biggest drawback of pivot table, people. It always takes its own generic name. It doesn't take the field headers exactly as it is. But we have to take that name, otherwise people will never understand what are these. These are the brands or products, or these are my inventory items or accessories. So for that reason, exact field name has to be there. How to bring that? Our people, they will tell you go and manually edit it. Do not ever do that. Don't edit the field name or field headers manually. Then how to bring it? I'll tell you. Keep your cursor anywhere in the data. Go to your design tab again in the extreme right. Design is there. And from that design, from the left side, third option, what it deals with is your report layout. Report layout. In that report layout, the third option is dealing with show in tabular form. Show in tabular form. And the moment you go for this with immediate effect, you will be finding exactly the same field name, whatever we have. Is it getting populated over here?
Yes.
Right? Now, once we have done with this, next step, what you need to do, as I told you in day one, when you present your data as it is nowadays, audience is not happy watching the same. They always have a different level of expectation, and what audience is expecting is audience that when you present your data, ensure that your data speaks a beautiful story. So how to present our data in a beautiful story format? Let's discuss that. Keeping your cursor in the grand total column, just select any cell from the grand total column, okay? And go for right click upon the same, and there we have got sort. And when you go for sort, largest to smallest, sort largest to smallest. And when you go and click it, can you see a beautiful story turns up that from entire 3 years, we got maximum revenue from Indica and least revenue from Jest. Whoever is watching my data, they can make out what I'm presenting. Do you all agree? Right? So I believe whatever we have done so far is clear. So we have understood how to prepare a pivot out of a raw data structure, satisfying all the rules, doing the minimum formatting, converting the data into table, preparing a pivot, doing the minimum formatting in the pivot, doing the necessary alignments, and finally presenting our data in a beautiful story format by arranging the data from largest to smallest. Any doubt, any queries from anybody? All right. Now go to the sheet one, the new Excel sheet where we are preparing the pivot table. Kindly just rename the same the way I'm doing exactly. Pivot bracket open, one bracket close, no space. Don't give any space over there. Pivot bracket open, one bracket close. Now, this pivot one, whatever we have made it ready, you can notice this is there in the left side of my summary table datasheet, correct? Now, if I ask you, please bring this pivot one to the right side of our summary table datasheet, what you do exactly? You will simply hold it and drag it to the right. So those exactly that thing you have to do right now, but holding the control button. I repeat, holding the control button, pivot one, drag it to pivot table number two right side. So you can see a clone of your pivot will be coming up as a pivot two, right? Kindly confirm all of you have got pivot two ready. Now, once we have done with this, let's go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now, suppose say this is what I have presented to my boss last 3 years data in three different column and all the products in rows. He's quite happy with that and he's telling Pravas, this pattern is really good. I like it. Now, what he's expecting, he's telling that I want to do some more deep dive analysis or some more macro level of analysis I want to do. So what is the meaning by deep dive analysis or macro level of analysis? Let's go and discuss that. So year-wise data is there. If you want to go in deep, month-wise analysis also you can do. Yes. So in that case, we need to check first. Do we have a field related to month? Yes. So only thing is we have to take it to the right field area. So bring month to the row area. Bring month to the row area, and you'll be finding your pivot structure changes. Check it out. Right? Now, pivot to whatever we have designed people before sending it across to the next level, we need to understand one thing. Whenever you prepare a pivot table, okay, each and every pivot, they have their own unique story. So before sending it across to the next level, we need to understand what kind of story this pivot is going to give it to our people. So let's go and discuss about that. Take a look. Boss asked me, Prabhas, get me last 3 years revenue data. Did I prepare this? Yes. What was his immediate demand? Month-wise data to analyze. Did I give it? Yes. But as an audience, if I see the larger picture, what is happening? My entire report is still emphasizing upon the product description. And boss has never demanded that I would like to see a report based on products. So this is the place where it has gone wrong. So how to rectify this? See, if you look at your row area, the first field is product description. Yes. That you bring it down till to the month, and immediately you'll find the entire structure changes, and month-wise, your entire product reports and last 3 years revenue data, everything comes up over here. So this is how we have understood. Simply interchanging the field, the whole story changes of your pivot. So whenever you happen to prepare a pivot table, ideal pivot table, or suitable pivot table, you have to play around with your field list, and then you see which report layout is giving the exact need of our people. Now, once we have done with this, you can notice in our pivot table, there are so many places we have a blank cells over here. Okay. So here, what does it mean exactly? If you remember, there was a rule of our pivot I told you initially. In our data, there should not be any blank, and we checked and confirmed there was no blank cells at all. But still, sometimes what it happens, you may find this kind of blanks in pivot. So what does it mean? Then here, why there's blank? It's a simple message during that year with regard to that month. For that particular product, we have never raised a single invoice. So this is pretty simple to understand, but people, whomever we are sending, they can't understand this and they will ask this question and we have to keep explaining the same. So when I explain, definitely my time is being wasted. So now the question is how to stop people asking unwanted questions. So basically, our job is when you see your pivot is containing this kind of blanks, it is our prior duty to replace all these blanks with a predefined text. So first of all, our find and replace people, if you are thinking to deal with it, it will not work because that is meant only for the normal or generic Excel sheet data. So here we are working with pivot. So this will not work. So what we can do in that case, just say you can go and keep your cursor anywhere in the pivot and right click on that. From the bottom, second one, pivot table options. You're able to see it is there. Okay. So when you go for pivot table options, it will take you to a dialog box where you will be finding that there is a box called for empty cell show. One box is there. So keep your cursor in that box and whatever you are expecting instead of that particular value or blanks, whatever you're expecting, like zero, hyphen, nil, not available, anything you want define. But I would suggest you always go for zero since we are dealing with numbers. Since we are dealing with numbers. Now, go and click OK. Go and click OK. Then you can see with immediate effect, you will be finding each and every blank cells are replaced with the text called zero. And this is how you should do the treatment with your blanks. Check and confirm, is it working? Right? So pivot to whatever we did, I believe it's clear working fine for all. Now, suppose say my boss has given the focus on the data point and he starts working with product one by one. And when he's reaching to the last product, say Tiago, he's unable to make out which month that product is pertaining to. So again, he has to look back over here and it seems it is of January month. So like that, my boss doesn't want to read the data. So he's telling, why don't you fill the month column with the month name? So any point of time, any row item I'm dealing with, I can come to know easily that what is the status. Well, to make it happen, what you can do, keep your cursor anywhere in this data itself. Okay. Then go to our design tab and there you have an option called report layout from the left side, third option. There is an option called repeat all item labels. Repeat all item labels. And once you click on that, now can you see with immediate effect, your pivot is having all the month, entire month column with the month names populated. So this is how people we have understood on pivot 2, like how to take more than one field and repair a pivot, and if necessary, how to take a control over there in the pivot by replacing the blanks with some kind of predefined text called zero. And what is the role of these repeat all item labels that also we have witnessed. So that's the story of our pivot table number 2. Any questions from pivot 2 side people, anybody? So pivot 2 is ready. All are comfortable. Any doubt, any queries from anybody, people?
So, like, if we want to show what's the difference of sales between each and every product, so do we need the column C and column D for the same, or it can be done in a single column? Basically, the difference instead of showing up the column C and D.
Well,
Like
so
for
you,
example.
you you want to compare the data between gist and hexa, correct?
No, not just on hexa. Let's say that we want that. Okay, let's say for hexa, the sales in 2019 is 46788, and in 2020 it is 88585. So I
Yeah.
just want to display the increase in number of units from
Yeah, that is
2019
what
till.
difference. That is what.
Hmm,
So you want to show the comparison between last year to this year in
hmm,
simple language, right?
hmm,
No
hmm,
problem. You can showcase that. See, I'm not doing here. I'll be doing separately because it will be giving a class to others. So here, I'll just go and present it. Okay, my data is ready. Fine, no doubt. So if I want to present the differences, like suppose I want to remove the month, I removed it. Now, what I want is I want another column stating the difference between 29 to 2020 and again 2020 to 2021. So basically, in those cases, this kind of grand total doesn't play any role. So to
hmm,
remove that, I'll go to design and grand total on for columns only. Then I'll keep the cursor over here in the column header of the years. I'll go to pivot table analyze or analyze there. In this fields, items and sets, one option will be there called calculated item. So when I go for calculate item, this will be asking a box name. Where is that field? Okay, here. What is the name you want to give it? Like difference, or you can make it just DIFF from 2019 20. Now formula, what it's supposed to be. Can you see over here we have got 2019, 2020, 2020, all the 3 years data in showing in the items.
hmm, hmm,
So I'll go for 2020 first, double click, minus 2019, double click. So this will be the comparison between 2019 to 2020. Do you agree?
yeah.
Now click OK. You got another column ready, difference 2019 to 2020. Similarly, I'll go for one more column, going to pivot table analyze, fields, items and sets, calculate item. I'll go for over here, difference 2019, sorry, 2020 to 2021. Okay. So when I go for 2020 to 2021, then formula, what it's supposed to be, it should be 2021 double click minus
Hmm,
2020 double click
hmm,
and click OK. Now this will be showing the result over here. So this is how within pivot itself, you can showcase the story from 2019 to 2020, how it was, and from 2020 to 2021, how it was.
hmm. Okay.
So I'm not getting the option of pivot analysis. What you have done right now in Excel sheet, it is not getting.
You will be getting, you have to keep your cursor in the column header and then pivot table analyze. You must be having which version of yours? Is it 365 or 2016 or 2013?
Just wait, huh? It's showing Excel 2007.
Yeah, in that fields, items and sets, you'll be getting option called calculate item.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Calculate item is disabled for me.
No, no, no. You have to keep your cursor in the column header, that year column header, that is
Oh,
2019, 2020, then only it will be activated.
okay, okay, understood, understood.
Yeah,
I got it. Yes.
yes. All right. So we have understood whatever the exercise we have done in our pivot table number two, and we are clear with that. Now do one thing, holding the control button, pivot two, select and drag it to the right. You got another pivot table ready, naming called pivot three. Kindly confirm once your pivot three is ready. Now take a look what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now suppose say this is what the layout my boss liked the most. What is saying to us this 3 years data you have given in three columns and month in one column. So I'm able to analyze the data, but I'm done with the product. Now I am looking for the similar layout only, but I would like to analyze the data based on the customer. So boss doesn't want to see product description. He is expecting customer in place of product description. So first, whichever he doesn't want, product description, just go to the checkbox and deactivate. Now what is expecting customer? So bring customer to the row area. And you see, you got again one more beautiful pivot table, same layout, but now it is telling the story of customers of last 3 years revenue data, month-wise analysis, boss can make it. Check it out. All of you got the same structure. Product description we have deactivated. Customer we have brought into our rows.
In this, like, can we add the product also? Because what happened if you want to get the dealer the with the product what he has sold, so it is possible.
Yeah, we can add product also. So if you want to customer wise, product wise report, so bring product description below to this again customer. So you got your report for customer wise, these are the products. So this particular customer, if you look at, he has sold only one product, Gen X Nano, in 2019, and this much. Arya Motors, he sold two products in the month of January. So like that, all these reports are showing. All right. So now take a look at this report. Suppose this is the report I have prepared and presented. My boss started operating with that, and he is telling me, okay, Prabhas, let's go and check it out. Our first customer, Alhamid Automobiles, and 2019, if you look at January, no business. When you scroll down, Feb, some business is there. Okay, good sign from the company. Then Bavaria Motors is coming up. There is no sign of our name called Alhamid Automobiles in March. April name is there, but no business. So like this, when he wants to analyze the data for the whole year, I mean, the first customer, Alhamid Automobiles, he has to scroll down more than 12 times, or could be the more case, right? So this is what nobody likes to read the data in this format. People doesn't like a lot of navigation, lot of scrolling. So what my boss is saying, he's saying, Pravas, you have given the data, but it is not giving a comfort zone to read the data. So why don't you do one thing? Make sure that when I open the file, entire history should be there in the picture in front of me. I don't need to navigate much. I don't need to scroll a lot. This is what something he is demanding. Then how to present it, all these things, let's discuss. Keeping our cursor anywhere in the pivot data, okay? If you look at our month is appearing in row area, that you bring it to the column area. Just drag and put it in the column area. Now you could see a beautiful precise report is turning up and entire customer names are appearing in one column. Okay. But imagine if you look at in this, how many columns we have landed up with. If you see, it will be showing the number of count that is total 41 columns. So how to take over here and present it a beautiful report by taking 41 columns of data? Technically not possible. Now suppose my boss has never seen this and he asked me, Prabhas, while coming my to cabin, get me a printout of the report. So how to take a printout having 41 columns? So these are the, I mean, drawbacks people when you go and prepare this many of columns of data, bring in pivot. So how to present it properly? Let's see. If you look at our column B, in column B, we have got 2019, one cell is there, B for Bombay. So second column is containing a cell called 2019. You can notice I'm highlighting also. So select your cell, don't click the button anything, select the cell and right click on that. When you see there's an option called expand and collapse. And in this expand and collapse, if you see collapse entire field, one option is there, you click on that. And when you go to collapse entire field with immediate effect, you will be finding entire 3 years data comes into just three columns and creating a beautiful plus symbol in each and every column over here. If you look at, this is called nothing but your radio buttons. This plus symbol is called as radio buttons. Now, any point of time, my audience is asking me, Pravas, or my boss asks me, Pravas, show me 2021 data. I can simply click on this plus symbol and only 2021 data alone will be expanded. So what is happening? Unwanted data we are not showing to the people. Unwanted questions are not going to come up. And this is how, once the presentation is over, if I want to restore my data, I can click on that plus symbol and data is restored. So this is how you can notice how to work around with our expand and collapse buttons and make a precise presentations of our data. Hope it is working. Check it out.
Prabhas, the selection, right? Right clicks, expand, collapse, right? So I need
Right.
do I need to see the column four fully or only the year?
No, no, no. Only year. That 2019, that 2019, the cell reference is there, B4. In B4, you keep your cursor and right click, expand and collapse interfield.
Me, customer year.
Hope it is working fine for all.
Expand the entire field, right? Okay. Expand entire field. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So now pivot three, whatever we did, people, that is what anybody can do. It's not a rocket science or something extraordinary. We did it. So now the time has come to discuss how to make our presentation different from others. So take a look at that. To make it something different, if you remember in day two, I told you something about the data visualization. So we have discussed different types of data visualization styles like data bars, icon sets, and our sparklines, all these things, if you remember, right? If you remember, we have discussed all these things like data bars, sparklines, and icon sets, right? So this is the kind of add-on now we are going to give it. But how? Just say, I'll keep my cursor next to grand total and name it as visual. Okay. Now to give a feel that this particular field is going to be the property of pivot table, keep your cursor in the grand total cell, and go to home tab. We have an option that kind of a format painter. One option is there, the brush kind of icon. So you can check this and click our visual. So it will be automatically adapting the same format what we have over there, right? Hope you're able to do it. Now, once we have done with this, our first customer, Al Hamid Automobiles, just select 3 years data. Don't select anything, just only 3 years data of first customer you can select. Now, once you select the same, okay, go to our insert tab. You will be finding there is a group called sparklines and it is containing three different types of sparklines options: line, column, win or loss. So selecting the first customer's 3 years data, going to insert menu and choose the options from sparkline and naming call over here, line sparkline you have, go for that. Okay. So when you go for this line sparkline, it will take you to a dialog box, something like this, asking where is the data. So data is there over here. You could notice 3 years data we have already selected. Then it is asking where is the location you want to present it. So location, if you talk about, we can take this visual column first cell over here. And now click OK. You'll be getting more or less a line graph kind of look or feel over here. And along with that, you will notice that on your extreme right of your ribbon, there will be a sparkline, tools, options, design, something will be populating depending upon the version of your Microsoft Excel. And when you go into that, you will be finding there's an option called markers, which is not selected. Not selected. So go and choose this option markers. So three pointers will be added over there in the line graph. Okay. Now this is happening only with one customer. The same we can apply for others. Simply drag it. And now
So
see the beauty.
can
Yep.
you repeat it again, sir? So sorry, can you repeat it again, sir, please?
Taking the 3 years data, going to insert, Do you see an option called Sparkline?
Yes, sir. Spotlight.
Within that line Sparkline, you can see
Just a minute. That option is not showing over here, sir, in Excel.
it will be there. You
Line
just
item is
no, no. What you see when you go to insert in the center, what is the button you see?
yes, sir. Correct. I'm there. Yes, sir.
Line option you see inside.
In Spark line. Okay. Line is there.
Click on the line option, and when you click line, this will be demanding where is the data. Data is already selected. Then it will be
Yes, sir.
asking where is the location. So location, you should select the visual column first cell.
Okay. Location. Yes, sir. First, sir. Okay.
Now click OK.
Visual line.
You will be
Yes, sir.
getting more or less a line graph kind of look.
Yes, I got it.
And then in the extreme right of your ribbon, do you see a tab called Sparkline or Options or Sparkline Tools something?
Okay. The top side. Yes.
Yeah. Now within that, you see a markers option checkbox is not activated. You have to
Hmm.
activate this.
Okay.
And then you have to apply the same for others by simply dragging it down, right? So here, when
Thank you,
you're
sir.
going to present it, people are going to see only these two columns. Trust me, because don't people don't have time to go through your numbers, billions, millions, lakhs, crores, and it is very difficult for them to remember. But if you present something like this visuals, that will be printed in the mind. Like if you look at the first customer, Al Hamid Automobiles, compared to last year, this year, if you see some consistency is being maintained, no problem. But Arya Motors, it is showing a consistent growth. It's a good sign from the company perspective. And if you see the Concord Motors, slightly it is down compared to last year, but Dalma Motors case, it is going huge downfall over there. So this is a serious issue. Again, we have to check with that customer. So people are going to make an opinion looking at the data like this, and they will be very happy when you present something. So nobody will demand for all these things, but if you present it, there is a need when you can take this into PowerPoint and make a meaningful slide presentations. So this is what nothing but people we have understood how to make our pivot presentations better, precisely taking the expand and collapsible buttons and then giving an add-on to the data by using the spark lines. So any doubt, any queries in pivot 3? Hope it is working. Are we good for next level? All right. Now take your cursor to pivot 3 sheet tab and holding the control button, drag it to the right. So you got another pivot ready, naming called pivot number 4. Now, this visual column work is over. You can select the entire column the way I have selected. And to remove the same, you can simply go for right click delete or go for control minus. So the column will be deleted. Okay. Now, keeping your cursor on the pivot, our customer work is over. You can remove that. Our month column work is over. You can remove that. So the first pivot table, whatever we had designed, bring the same structure, like product description in the rows. So kindly confirm you all got the same structure. All right. Now, once we have got this, let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now, suppose say this is what the pivot I have designed. Okay. My boss asked me, Prabhas, you have given me last 3 years revenue data. That's fine. I just want to know to generate this much of revenue, how much incentives we have given. What he's asking that along with this revenue data, he wants to compare with the adjacent column, the incentive data. Now, incentive in the corporate while working, whom we pay the incentive? Of course, to the salesman, sales agent, salespeople. So, whom we have paid? My boss is not interested in knowing that. How much we have paid, that is what he is interested in knowing it. All right. So now over here, the question is, first thing first, do we have a field called incentive? Check it out.
No, it's not there.
So our problem starts. We do not have the data. Okay. Now take a call over here. Just assume that in our organization, we have a uniform policy that whoever the salesman, how much ever the billing they make, they will be entitled for 2% incentive. Though they are working north, south, east, west, or central zone, they're entitled for 2% incentive. Having said this, now if I need to create a column in our pivot table naming called incentive, what is the choice I have? What I can do for this? So as we know, since we do not have the data, we have to go to our source data sheet, and we do have a choice. We can create a column over there. So if you go to our source data sheet, the last column is dealing with channel partners. So keep your cursor next to channel partners, and there you name it as incentive. And the moment you type it, can you see what is happening? Same formatting has been carried forward. Can you see that? Right? How it is happening? Same format, how it is carried forward, because we have converted our data into table. So now you got the reason why I asked you to convert your data into table, so that you don't need to worry about your formatting. Excel will be taking care about your formatting part. Now, once we have done with this, over here, take a look about the formula. So as we discussed, what should be the formula? 2% on the billing column. So we'll go for equal to billing column is sales USD. So when I go and select the sales USD cell, can you see it takes this automatic formatting like @ symbol, square brackets, and column headers name. So this is what we have already witnessed in our day one also. When you go for table format, it automatically takes its formatting. Now, coming back to formula, multiply. What is the percentage? 2%. That's it. The moment I hit enter, can you see it is not only applying to a cell, but also the entire column. How? Because we have converted our data into table. So this is how people, because of table format, our job is getting easy, and that we have witnessed. And if necessary, if I need to create a new column also, I'm not going to struggle for designing the data, right? Now, all these things, where we did in our source data, where is your actual data in the pivot table number 4? If you look at in the column headers below to channel partners, do you see incentive? No. So don't worry, keep your cursor anywhere in pivot and right click on that. And when you go for right click, can you see an option called refresh? So when you go and click this refresh button with immediate effect, you will be finding your incentive field is being populated over here. Now this incentive field, what type of data it is holding, the numbers or numerical values. And as I told you, if you have numbers or numerical values, where do you have to keep it? Obviously, we have to place it in the value field area. So just drag it again, incentive, and put it across in the value field area. And you'll be finding a new column naming called over here incentive. So along with that, total incentive also will be there. Okay. So this is how people we have understood. Even if we do not have the data, we do always have a choice going back to our source data, creating a new column, and we can bring the same by using a table format. And table format, how it comes automatically, because we have given that in the initial period, Control T. So any doubt, any queries in pivot 4, anybody? So pivot 4 is clear, working. So kindly confirm yes, no, at least. Okay. Right. Now, once your pivot 4 is ready, people, let's go and hold our control button by selecting pivot 4 and drag it to the right. You got another pivot ready over here, naming called pivot table number 5. Now, Our incentive work is over. You can simply deactivate that field over here. Okay. So now let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Okay. So incentive I have presented, boss is quite happy and he also thanked me. And then he's saying, Prabhas, you have given me last 3 years billing amount. Okay. I just want to know, while making this much of billing, how much discounts we have given to our customers. So now my boss wants to analyze billing amount versus discount amount in the adjacent column or side by side. All right. Now, first thing first, do we have a discount field? Check and confirm, please. Is it there?
No, it's not there.
Right. So our first problem is over here. If you look at, we do not have the data. Okay. Now, the question is how to prepare this and bring it to pivot. So let's keep this in hold. Like incentive, suppose in our organization, we have a global policy for discount as well. What is that global policy says? Suppose if anybody is purchasing anything, irrespective of any quantity from us, though it is a small quantity, bulk quantity, everybody is entitled for 5% discount. So uniformly, we give 5% discount to everyone. Suppose this is our company policy. Now, having said this, if I need to prepare a column naming called discount, how will I do that? Yes, give me your opinion, please.
We have to go for in the main table, main data, and there
Mhm.
we have to do the calculation of discount like 5%
Okay,
against the USD value.
right. The way we did incentive, the similar fashion, we have to go to our source data. Don't do that. We are just discussing. So going to source data, creating a new column, naming that, and then putting the formula, applying the same for all, then going back to pivot, doing the right click refresh, and bringing the same to the value field area, we have to populate. So for the entire procedure, how much time we have taken? Roughly 2 to 5 minutes. So one end, our 2 to 5 minutes quality time we spent, which is a waste of time. Yes, it's a waste of time. And besides that, the moment you go back to your source data, create a new column and apply the formula for number of rows, so automatically the more the formula, again file size will be more. Now, having said this, whatever we did people in the previous calculation for incentive, okay, our experts suggest us to do the job like this. But Microsoft Excel never recommends for that. So now the question is, without creating any source data, how to get a new column in pivot itself by applying our own formula. Take a look. Keeping your cursor anywhere in the pivot, going to our pivot table analyze or analyze depending upon the version of Microsoft Excel. There's an option called fields, items and sets. If it is not a direct option within calculations category, it will be there. And then within that, do you see an option called calculated field? Right? Now, when you go to the calculate field, it will take you to a dialog box, something like this, where the name, what should be the new name? Name should be discount. Name should be discount. Fine. Now, what would be the formula for discount calculation? As we know, it should be in the formula box we have to type. So delete everything, whatever you have in the formula box, delete everything. Now, what you can do, if you see in this categories or field details, there is a sales USD one field is there. Just double click on that. And with immediate effect, this will be populating to your formula box. You don't need to go and manually type anything, just double click on the sales USD. Then multiply. What is the percentage we discussed? 5%. 5%. Okay, that's it. Now, once you define the same, the formula is ready over here. And now go and click OK, and you will be finding a beautiful pivot table along with your discount column, total discount, along with that year-wise how much discounts we have paid, that also being populated over here. So this is how people, whenever there's a need, how to create a new field in pivot without creating the source data. You can see that. And if you see the field is already gone to your value field area, I don't need to take any separate efforts for it. If you see the field is also containing a discount field name and going to be the property of pivot table going further. And whenever you want, you can bring it back and remove it. All these functionalities are available. So this is how what we have understood. Whatever the things we did for incentive, we could have done in this way as well. So this is called your calculate field or virtual field. There is no restrictions. You can keep creating a number of fields like that. And the beauty is it will not load your file in the backend. So check, confirm, pivot 5 is working. Any doubt, any queries? So pivot 5 is clear. Yes, anybody's mic is on. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, keep your mic on mute. So I believe pivot 5 is clear for all. Can I take that? Fine. So holding the control button, select pivot 5 and drag it towards your right. Another pivot will be turned up, naming pivot table number 6. Now, our in discount work is over. You can remove that field discount. Okay. Now let us discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now suppose say this is what the pivot table I have designed and presented to my boss. My boss is quite happy with the layout or report presentations over here, and he's saying Trivas, you have given me only one pivot table. Yes, only one. But what I'm expecting is similar format, similar layout of pivot should be there, but that should be based on the salesman. So technically salesman wise pivot table boss is expecting, but the pivot table should look like this only. So say in our organization, we have got 200 salesmen. My boss is expecting 200 pivot tables, but should be like this. Now, why he's asking that? It's not an easy job definitely to go for 200 pivot tables like this, but what's the point? Simple. Whatever the targets we have given to each and every salesman, whatever the actuals we have achieved, so he wants to send it across to each and every salesman and collect the feedback. Okay, so this is the reason why he's asking. But how long it will be taking for us to create something like this? Of course, it will take a lot of time, right? But how to do that? So first thing first, do we have a field related to salesman or sales agent something? Yes, we do have. Now, no need to do anything. Just watch my screen. I am doing on behalf of all. Okay. So what you need to do, suppose salesperson is there. I will take it to our row area. Pattern is changing. Boss is not happy. I took this to the column area. Again, what happens? Field is there, but details are missing. So it's of no use presenting the data something like this. I took it to the filter area. Now what happened? Pivot table is there only one, and above to the pivot table, one field details called salesperson is there. So again, what happens? I'm not pivot tables, right? So how to deal with the same? Take a look. So whenever there is a need, if you want to export your pivot table report into multiple reports on a click of button, how to do that? That is what our objective now. Okay. So in that case, the first thing first, based on which field we are looking for multiple reports based on the salesperson. So please bring salespersons to the filter area. Start working with me. Please bring salespersons to the filter area. Now, once you bring it, you can notice above to the pivot table that field is coming up over here. So keep the cursor in that filtered cell. Don't click the filter button, just select that cell. Now, going to our analyze or pivot table analyze. Okay. The very first option deals with your pivot table name, correct? Below to that, we have a options tab. Don't click the options also. Next to options, you have a small navigation button. Click on that navigation button. And there are three options you will be finding it is coming up. Options, show report filter pages, generate get pivot data. So go for our second option, show report filter pages. And with immediate effect, you will be finding a dialog box appears having the field name called salesperson selected already. Yes. And we are also expecting salesman wise report only. Perfect. Now go and click OK. And see the beauty on your blink of your eyes, your pivot will start exporting the data into multiple reports, having pivot table reports the same. Filter selected with our salesman name over here. Sheets are also renamed with the salesman name. See? So the task which you would have spent near about 1 day time or more than that could be the case. We have just done it with a simple click of button. So this is called our life savior option of our pivot table people. Trust me, literally I have seen people just sitting and doing the copy paste work at the year end whenever they happen to create product wise report, vendor wise data. or customized report, anything they prepare, or cost center wise record, department wise record, anything they want to prepare, they always do it manually. But if you know the tool properly, it is just a fraction of seconds you can make it. So this is how we have understood how to export our pivot table reports into multiple reports on a click of button. Check it out. Is it working? Kindly confirm.
So can you show the formula again, sir, if you don't mind?
Keeping your cursor, have you got your field into the filter area? First step.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then keeping the cursor in that filter box, whatever you have dotted, and then going to
Yes.
pivot table analyze. And there, the very first option in the pivot name, below to that, options is there. Next to options, there is a small navigation button. And when you go and
Yes.
navigate that button, second option, show report filter pages. And when you click that, it will take you to a dialog box. And the only thing is you have to click OK, confirming that your salesperson is in selection.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I believe it's clear in pivot 6, whatever we did. This will be really going to save a lot of time, people. Fine. Now, once we have done with our pivot table number 6, people, let's do one thing. Holding the control button in pivot 6, just drag it to the right. Pivot 7 will be turned off. Now, pivot 7, when you go for it, our salesperson work is over. You can remove that. Now, let us go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Sometimes what it happens, people, when you have to present your date related fields in pivot, like our purchase order date, work order date, invoice date, date of joining of the employee. So those date related information, how to present it precisely in pivot, we are going to discuss. But for that, certain things we have to do some adjustments over here, people. Like take a look. We have our tabular data. Okay. So in this, the unwanted fields like product description, please remove. Year, you remove it. So just have only one field naming called sales USD. Rest of fields you make it clean. Now, above to your sales USD field, can you see one field called order date is there? So that field you hold it and drag it in the row area. So when you bring it, if your version is of 2016 and above, you will get a automated table like this. If you are in 2010 or 2013, the structure will be different. Okay. So here, this kind of ready-made pivot table is not going to add any value and people cannot understand what you're presenting. So how to make a proper presentation? Just say, we have to keep our cursor in one of the year and right click on that. And there we have an option over here called ungroup, ungroup. So when you go for this ungroup option with immediate effect, you can see the entire pivot is neutralized and it is ending up with our date-wise records over here. Date-wise records over here. Okay. Now, this report is quite lengthy. It will be running in pages and there's no point presenting our data something like this. So how to present it precisely? Keep your cursor in one of the date and right click upon that. You have an option called group. You have an option called group. Click on that. And when you go to the group, you will be finding a dialog box appearing over there stating first and last invoice date in two different columns. And along with that, you can notice it shows the categories in by column over here. And categories only month is in selection. So select days as well, one step up, and select years as well, which is in the bottom. And once you have selected all these things over there, then simply go and click OK. And you'll see a beautiful hierarchy of your report, year-wise, month-wise, date-wise records. So this is how people we have understood in our pivot table number 7. Whenever there is a date-related fields to be presented, how to present it precisely. Just try this out. Any difficulties, do let me know. Or any questions, feel free to ask. So whatever we did, is it clear in pivot 7?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let us go for holding our control button on pivot 7, drag it to the right. So we got another pivot ready, naming called pivot 8. And from this date related, whatever the fields is there, kindly remove that. Now bring product description to the rows and year to the columns. The very first pivot table, whatever we have designed, we got the same structure. Now Take a look what else we can do with regard to pivot table. See, this is what last 3 years revenue data I have presented. But this kind of billions, millions, lakhs, crores, maybe my immediate boss would be happy watching the same. As we know, we have discussed the same in day one as well. But when I'm presenting the same to the management, what they're expecting, they don't like this boring billions, millions, lakhs, crores. They want to see the data in terms of percentage. So now the question is, this entire 3 years data, we are expecting another three columns to present it in the percentage form. So how to present it? If that is the case, our experts, what they suggest is they go and do the things manually, like going for equal to. Now this data is in B5, they go and type B5 over here, divided by total revenue is B16, so they go for B16 and they will lock it because the moment copy the formula down, it should not move down. Now same they can convert into percentage, Control Shift 5 as they know, and then going for double click on the fill handle and it will be ready. So like this, they will create another two columns for 2020 and 2021 respectively. So these are the manual columns. They are manual calculations. It will never be forming part of our pivot. So what is the point of presenting our data something like this? And why these guys are presenting something like this? Because they believe it's not possible by pivot table. So these things are happening only in the normal data sheet. So this is the place where we're going to make it different. How? Making it possible in pivot table. So how to do that? For that, some little bit of interface arrangements we have to do. Like in our pivot, if you look at, we have got two types of grand total. So this is called our row wise grand total. So each and every row, this total is there. That's why it's called as over here, row wise grand total. Now this is called column wise grand total since each and every column totals is available. Okay. Now, how to make this row wise grand total deactivate, how to deactivate the same, how to remove the same, we are going to discuss that. Technically, you cannot delete a field from our pivot because all the fields are interlinked or integrated. So only thing is we can hide. Now, if you hide after column D, column F will be visible. So it is of no sense at all. So in this case, what is the best option? Let's see. Keeping your cursor anywhere in pivot, go to design, extreme right, design tab. The very first option deals with subtotal and with immediate right is the option called grand total. Okay. Now within that grand total, can you see we have an option called on for columns only, on for columns only. And immediately you'll be finding that row wise grand, whatever the total it was there, is it missing now? Yes. So this is how we should do the interface arrangements. So kindly confirm all of you have got your row wise grand total disappeared.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, once we have done with this, next, just look at our value field area. If you see, there is already a sales USD field is there, right? Now bring this sales USD one more time into the value field area. Same field one more time. Now, can you see one more new column naming called sum of sales USD2? Is it created? Right click on that cell, okay? And there we have an option called show values as. And when you navigate from the top, third option, what it deals with, percentage of column total. So when you go and select the same with immediate effect, you will be finding entire data is turned into over here percentage, right? Now you can go and change the field name to revenue percentage. So you can notice the data which is really not existing, but we can create by customizing our field over there in our pivot. So each and every year wise, you can see the total is showing 100%. Check, is it working? Now, once we have this, what else we can do over here? Just see. If you look at our 2019 Indica, how much is the value? The value is of 6,18,372 USD. Now, this value, is it of one in Indica invoice cost or multiple? Yes, Venki will complete this and go. Just give me 2 minutes time. Okay, so it is of one invoice cost or multiple invoice. Definitely multiple invoice because it is giving the aggregate of the values because pivot always gives the aggregate values. Okay, so now the question is, boss is asking me, Prabhas, just let me know how many invoices we have raised in 2019 with regard to Indica. So he wants the number of invoice or invoice count as well. Now take a look. Do we have a field called invoice count? No. So what we can do, take a look, we can bring this sales USD one more time into the value field area. So we got another field again, naming called sum of sales USD2. So if you have not renamed the earlier one, it will become sum of sales USD3. This is the only difference. Now, keeping the cursor in that column header, right click. We have an option called summarize values by. By default, the tick will be there in sum. So change it to count, and with immediate effect, you will be finding that the total number of invoices will be populated and you can name it as invoice count. So this is how people, again, we saw one more column which is not really existing in our data, but yes, we could create such kind of virtual columns or calculations over there and present it effectively. Can you check all these things are working? Fine. So now the data, whatever we have, no doubt, these columns we have created, but can we present something like this in this format? Like first a value, then percentage, then invoice count. So the order should be there in the proper format. So ideally, if you look at after product description, which column should be there first? Should be invoice count, followed by invoice value, followed by invoice percentage. So how to make it? Simple. You can go to your value area. The last field you see invoice count is there, right? There in the extreme right, you will be finding a small navigation button. Click on that and you will get some small pop-up where you could see move to beginning one option is there. And when you go to this move to beginning with immediate effect, you will be finding your order has been changed for your data. So this is your product description followed by invoice count, followed by invoice value and invoice value in terms of percentage. So this is how we have understood in our pivot 8, if necessary, the columns which is really not existing, but we can precisely present those things and that will be forming part of our pivot table. Even if you want, you can see the field details are available. And if you see the source data, there is no such kind of columns available. So this is how pivot 8 we have presented. So any doubt, any queries in our pivot 8? Anybody? So kindly save all your files. Okay. And with this, we'll go for a short break. Okay. So in my system, it is 4345 I consider. Then 4:20 p.m. we will resume our session. So have a cup of tea or coffee, come back soon, and we'll discuss the rest. So I believe everybody's back. Could you please respond in the chat box or unmute or speak? Yes. Fine then. So let's go for our next. What else we can do with regard to pivot table? We are going to discuss about that. So pivot 8 is ready. So holding the control button, please drag it pivot 8 and automatically pivot 9 will turn up. And from pivot 9, what you need to deactivate is in the value area, you have got revenue percentage that you remove. You have got invoice count that you remove. So have only one field naming called sales USD. Rest of fields, you please remove it from the value field area. Now, if you look at our pivot, our row wise grand total is still missing. Okay, we need to bring it back. But how? Keeping your cursor anywhere in this pivot, go to same design. And in the design tab, if you look at over here, grand total from the left side, second option, you need to go for on for rows and columns. So automatically your row wise grand total will be restored. Now, once you have this, now let us go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. See, we are going to learn a beautiful concept like how to design or create a dashboard in pivot table. So you would have heard this dashboard terminology quite often. It's not new for you, but yes, if you look at the dashboard, there are different types of dashboard we can create in our Excel. One, we call it as a macro dashboard. With a macro programming, we can create all the dashboard. The other one, formula driven dashboard. So we can write the different types of formulas and we can create a dashboard. The third one is our pivot dashboard, where you don't need to pay much efforts, but yes, you can turn a beautiful presentation or one page report and we can call it as a dashboard. So we are going to discuss about the pivot dashboard at this state. So to create a pivot dashboard over here, certain things, rules you need to follow. You need to take multiple objects help and the objects should be pinpoint accurate. And along with that, when you take multiple objects, you have to ensure that it contains some high definition colorful buttons. So if you look at our pivot table above to the pivot area, can you see some unwanted rows are there? Yes. Just keep your cursor in one of the row and hit Alt I R. So Alt I for insert, R for rows. Okay. It will help you to create a or insert a row, and to repeat the last action, go for F4. If it is not your direct key, go with function with F4 key and create some 10 to 15 blank rows above to the pivot area. So this is our first step. We'll go step by step confirmation. Kindly confirm.
So it's Alt I
I
R, no? I for India,
R.
R for rabbit.
Absolutely. Yes.
And F4, no?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Now, the first step is clear. Next step, keeping your cursor in the pivot, go to your pivot table analyze or analyze tab depending upon the versions of Microsoft Excel. You have a option over here naming called insert slicer. And when you go for insert slicer and click, it will take you to a dialog box where you could see all these respective column headers from our source data is being populated over here. Now the slicers are nothing but it is called as a filter button, but we call it as visual filter buttons. The moment you are thinking to integrate your slicers with pivot table, you need to follow a rule. And what is the rule says? First, watch that what are the fields already taken in pivot. So we have taken our year, then product description and sales USD, all these three fields. So those three fields you should not choose as a slicer because that will be amounting as a duplication of fields. So apart from all these three fields, anything else you want to work with, say, I want to check my customer data. I want to do analysis based on the salesperson. I want to see my region-wise report. I want to check my month-wise data. I repeat, you can cross-check customer, salesperson, region, month, not months, month. If it is there, can you confirm all these checkboxes are selected? All are clear? Fine. So once you have all these fields on, then go and click OK. You will be finding four boxes will be created, and these are called nothing but four slicers. So now, what is the job we have? The space, whatever we have created above to the pivot table area, we need to arrange all these four slicers in that area. So how to do it? Just see. To select a particular slicer, you should select by the slicer name. Now suppose say I hold name called month and I'll go and drag it. Customer, I'll keep it in the right side. Salesperson, I can keep it in the left. And region, I'll keep it to the right side of that. So here you could see for all the splicers, now it is aligned properly. right? Now, once you have arranged this, okay, do not click any of the variables inside the slicer. Just hold, so no slicers variable should be clicked, that you have to ensure, okay? And once you have done with this over there, though we have presented the slicers, but the look and feel of the slicers are not looking so great. So we have to do some cosmetics works, or we need to beautify the slicers over here. So how to beautify the same? Just say, once you select a slicer, you can see a slicer tab is exclusively activated here. Within that, you see columns option is there, columns, by default one. Now, you can increase the column number, 2, 3, 4. So I have changed my customer variables entirely into 4 different columns. Okay. But the problem is I'm unable to read the data. So what we can do, since we have got lot of space towards right side, I can simply enhance the range. And now all the customer names are visible. Yes. Similarly, region, salesperson, month, I'll select and I'll go for 3 columns. So can you see, I can do individually or I can make it a group and do that also. That's also possible if your column numbers are uniform, right? Now here, the moment I go for this, now I'm working with full screen. Anybody is having an issue, do let me know by unmuting yourself. So I'll take this and this region, I'll little bit enhance it. So all the regions should be visible. Yeah. Then salesperson, that also I'll go for it. Month, since it is not visible, that also I'll make it of, say 3. Salesperson also will make it 3. That's better. Okay. So now, though I have distributed into multiple columns, but the problem is, again, the look and feel is not great. So here we have a slicer styles. You can see in the same slicers tab. And if you go for the more button, it opens with 2 broad categories, light and dark. Okay. Now here, there is no medium as we saw in this tabular format, but here we have option only for mills. Okay. So sorry, medium, I'm sorry. So instead of medium, we have only got light and dark. So we need to go for dark color. The reason is we need some high definition colorful buttons. Okay, so I can select one slicer. I can go for one dark color. I can select one more slicer, one more dark color, one more slicer, one more dark color. Like that, you can individually color them with a different color separately, and that is going to add more value towards your reports. So check it out. All these things are happening. Any difficulties? Hope it is ready. Now, once we have done with this, though we have got all these colorful patterns, we have brought it people. Okay. Now select one of the slicer and go for Control A. So Control A will be helping you to select all the slicers. And here in the same slicer tab, you have an option called Align. You have an option called Align. Just click on this. And then within that, you will be finding we have an option called align top. So from top margin, everything will be populated. Again, go to the same alignment option and you need to choose distribute horizontally. Now, why we need to go for distribute horizontally? Because between the slicer, whatever the spacing also there, that also has to be uniform. So that's why we have to go for distribute horizontally. Fine. Now, once this is done, the last step, don't ever forget, next to align, you have an option called grouping. And within that, you have a group option. This is very, very essential to do because if you do not do so and convert the data into a single object, all the slices into a single object, the entire efforts in going to be in vain. So just to safeguard over here, whatever the formatting patterns we have designed to safeguard that, finally we have to convert into a group. And when you create a group, can you see with immediate effect in the bottom side, one data set will be there. So in this slicers, if you look at some empty rows are also there in the bottom side. So this is not playing any role. We need to remove that. But how to remove it? So taking this button from our object button side, holding the over here mouse key, and then just taking it up. But ensure that you are not going to regain your vertical scroll bars over there. Hope all are clear so far, whatever we have done. Now, take a look over there. Once you have done with your slicers arrangements, between the slicer and pivot, you will be finding unwanted row items are there, correct? You can select the same and delete the rows. These are not playing any role. You can delete the rows. So we have made our pivot table ready and we have got all our slicers arrangements also done. Right? Now this pivot table field, which is in the right side, that box is showing, this is no longer playing any role. You can select and deactivate this or close this. This button is called close button. And now, keeping your cursor in the pivot table, go to your analyze or pivot table analyze. Go to your analyze and pivot table analyze. Just towards your right side, can you see one pivot chart option is available? So go and click that. It will show you entire chart family. No need to do any changes. Just go and click OK. So you'll be finding a beautiful chart is ready over there. So this is called your pivot chart. And what is the beauty of pivot chart? If you look at the chart has the ready-made filter buttons inside the chart area. Can you see? You will never find such kind of ready-made filter buttons in your normal chart course of actions. This is exclusively available only if you have a pivot table in place. Okay. Now, having said this, take this chart, populate next to the data, and extend the chart exactly with alignment of your slicer. So we got our slicer, we got our pivot table, we got our pivot chart. Now, once you have pivot chart, selecting the chart, go to the design. In the top design button is the activator over here, and there you have got many more style. So go for the more style, the last one you can choose. Now you can ask me a question, why the last one? Why not anything else? One in the charts over here, styles? Because the last one, if you compare with the others, it is going to give you some glossy impact, some embossing effect, and that's why we opted for our last options. Fine. Now, though we made it, now inside the chart area, unwanted grid lines are there. To remove the grid lines, if you select your chart, you can see a plus symbol will be there in the left or right side of the chart area, depending upon the monitor space. And if you click that, you can see this appears and remove the grid lines over here and click the plus symbol. So the chart also will be neat and clean. Okay, so kindly confirm you got your pivot table, pivot chart, and slicers. All these things are ready. Right now, take a look. Once we have done with this, whatever we have done so far, anybody can do that. It's not a rocket science or something extraordinary. We did it. Okay. So now the time has come to discuss how to make our presentation different from others. So what you can do whenever you prepare this kind of dashboard or one page report, people, the unwanted things or stuffs like from your interface, what is that you have to remove? So what is that I need to remove? Just see. We can remove over here. See, this formula bar is unwanted. Column headers are unwanted. Row headers are unwanted. Ribbon bars are unwanted. So all these things we have to remove. But how? Take a look. Keep your cursor anywhere in a blank cell, anywhere in a blank cell, and go to your view tab. You will be finding three options are on, like headings, grid lines, formula bar. All these checkboxes are on. And so all these checkboxes, once you remove it, then our ribbon bar, how to remove that? See, ribbon bar, you can't remove it. Only thing is you can hide or unhide. And for that, you should go for Control F1. So Control F1 is the keyboard shortcut to hide or unhide the ribbon bar. It's a toggle key, same key used for hiding the ribbon bar and same key to unhide. If it is not your direct key, go with Control Function F1 and check, is it getting hidden now? Right? So this is how when you look at your own presentation, is it giving neat and clean look, like as if some blank page is there and entire template is embedded on that? This kind of feeling we are getting, isn't it? Now, once you have done with this, what I am going to tell you, the next 2 minutes, just watch my screen. That is not mandatory, optional, but if you do it, it will be acting like a add-on to your data. Like what exactly? See, no need to do anything, just watch my screen. I have inserted few rows. I'll go to my insert, I'll go for a shapes, I'll go for a rectangle. Okay. There I name it as sales dashboard. I make it center. I'll go to shape format. I will change the color over here and font color. I'll make it white. So now it is giving a perfect feel. Then I'll do one thing. Since we are in 2019 and above, those who are in, you will be finding a beautiful option called icon. So you can take this icon and it will be connecting to your Microsoft Office server. And whatever the icons you're looking for, suppose I'm looking for one chart icon. So it will be giving me various icons related to the charts. And whichever I feel that it is going to add more value to my data, I can take that chart and insert. Now this one, I'll keep it inside my rectangular box, whatever it is. And I'll change the graphics format to, again, this is also white color. So now it is looking good. Now, to give a feel to the audience that this is not a random data, this is a authenticated data of, suppose, say, Tata Motors. So what I can do, how to pass that message to the audience, just see. I'll go to my Microsoft Edge, I'll go to Google and I'll go for Tata Motors logo. Suppose I just go for it. Now, whichever the logo I feel it is quite good and it is going to work fine for me, I'll select that and I'll just right click, copy image. I'll go over here and I'll paste it. So now this Tata Motors logo, I will select, I'll make it a little bit small. So now what I'm giving the message that this is not a random or ordinary data. This data is authenticated and that is pertaining to Tata Motors. So this entire section, what we did over here, people, this is just a add-on, not mandatory. But if you do so, it will be giving a better or positive message to the audience. People will like it also, right? So this is how we have got our records ready. Now remember one thing, being a presenter, never ever show many more information to the audience. The more the information you show, again, the more the question people will be asking. And in meeting, we don't get whole day long time to present our data. Hardly we get 15 minutes or max to max half an hour, not more than that. I have ever seen people getting time. Now we have to be very calculative about that. We have to present it. We have to collect the feedback and we have to also give our own interpretation. All these things we have to be doing our homework properly. Now, suppose say whatever we have discussed, if you see, there are many more sheets we have. Now, you must have thought something except pivot 9, you should be hiding exactly. But if you hide anybody on a simple right click, unhide that. So, what is the point? You hide something again, anybody can unhide. Hide in such a way that nobody except you will be knowing how many pivots you have prepared, where is your source data, where is your workings, where is your calculations, except you. Nobody should know it. Then it makes sense. So here, what you need to do, I'll tell you, no need to take this much of pain or hiding the sheets. I'll tell you a very beautiful option that we have. Go to File menu. In File menu, you should come down in the extreme bottom. You have a Options tab. Mhm. Now go to Options tab, and in this options, you will be finding over here called Advanced. So in Excel options dialog box, you need to go to the category called Advanced. And then When you click advanced towards your right side, there will be a scroll bar you will be getting. That scroll bar, you just bring it somewhere in the 50% of your window time. And there you will be having a display box. So this is called a category called display. When you bring this advanced selecting and bring the scroll bar towards somewhere in the middle or 50% down, you'll be getting display options. And within display, you'll be finding a subsection display called display options for this workbook. And the third option, it deals with sheet, I mean, show sheet tabs. Show sheet tabs. All right. Now this option is on. You have to deactivate that checkbox. And now, once you click OK, you can see all your entire sheet tabs will disappear. So no one will be ever be knowing that how many Excel sheets you have prepared, what is your workings, what is your primary data, except you, nobody will be knowing. So this is how you can work around this formula over there. And that will be very, very helpful. And don't be panic, that will be applicable only for this Excel file. So don't be in the impressions that my all the Excel file sheets will be hidden. No, this is applicable only for this Excel file. All right, now take a look. Once I am ready with all these things, my boss asked me, Travas, are you ready for the presentation? I said yes. Then he has invited me to the presentation area. He has greeted to all our delegates and he set the context and asking me, Pravas, please start the show. So when I opened this file connecting to the projector and showing over there, my boss only started saying, Pravas, we are not interested seeing last 3 years data. Okay. Now, when I'm presenting something, my boss only saying that we are not interested in seeing last 3 years data, show us only 2021. So what I'll do, I'll go to my year filter and there I'll go for 2021. So I showed this. Now, can you see those who are interested seeing the numbers, they will look at my pivot table data. Those who do not have the time, they will be looking at my chart area. So chart area, how to make out the story, like from Genex Nano, we got the maximum revenue. And from our Sumo Gold, we got the maximum revenue during that year or least revenue during that year. So this is how, when I presented it, looking at the same, next to my boss, suppose my immediate chief marketing officer is sitting over there. So he asked me one thing, Prabhas, if this is the story of 2021, can you show me the performance of Salesman 5 for the year? So I'll go to my salesperson slicer and choose SM5. This is the entire story of Salesman 5 for the year. Okay. Now looking at the same immediately, next question what my chief marketing officer asked me, Prabhas, if this is the history of Salesman 5 for the year 2021, can you show me his performance for the month of May? So I'll go to slicer month and May month I'll choose and immediately the data will be displaying for May month. So what you understood now that only one product May month he has sold over there called Hexa. Which country? Africa. Which customer? Tuli Motors. So everything on your fingertips are available on a click of button, and that's what when you include your topics over here, like slicers, pivot table, pivot charts, that will be turning into a beautiful dashboard and you can present it effectively to the audience. And trust me, whoever is watching this kind of presentation, they will be very happy. And somebody is definitely going to ask a question at the end of the presentation. How did you do all these things? Is it in Excel you really did it? Because people believe all this kind of presentations is happening only if you have a pivot table in place. But if you know the tool properly, trust me, you can make a lot of wonders in Excel itself. Just check it out. All these navigations are happening. Yes, people, is it working? So taking the live data, you have to keep practicing about all these things, and trust me, it is going to help you a lot, and you know your target audience better. So techniques remains the same. Only thing is you have to play around with your data so that you can give a better feel to your audience. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Fine. So now, once you have done with the presentation, what is the next thing? How to restore all these things? That is what most important part. So to restore all these people, first of all, you have to keep clearing your slicers. And to restore the slicers or clear the slicers, you can see in the top right corner of each and every slicer, you'll be having a cone kind of structure called clear filter. So you need to keep clicking that. And finally, the charts also, we have activated one filter. So you can go to that and clear filter. Right? Now, what are the other things we need to activate? So keeping your cursor in a blank cell, as we discussed, we need to activate first of all our sheet tabs. For that, what you need to do, you need to go to our same option, going to File, Options, going to Advanced, and scroll it down till 50% down, and then Display. And within Display, you have a subsection called Display Options for this workbook, and it shows Show Sheet Tabs. Right. So this Show Sheet Tabs option is deactivated since we did it in the earlier time. And now you can restore that checkbox and click Finish or OK. So all your sheet tabs will be restored. Right. Now, what are the other things to be restored? Like we have got column headers, row headers, grid lines, formula bar to be restored. So keeping your cursor in a blank cell, going to the View tab, going to the View tab, and there all these three options are there, checkboxes, headings, grid lines, formula bar, everything you can activate it. Hope it is clear. So pivot table number 9, whatever the exercise we did, I believe it's clear the combination of all these three categories, how to turn into a beautiful report or dashboard by using pivot table itself, we can create. We got the basic understanding. So trust me, this one thing alone, if you do it properly, you can make a lot of difference at your workplace. Out of this entire 16 hours of training program, if this section, day 3, if you have understood properly and you have utilized all the features at your workplace, that is really a great return on investment, you can say also. All right. So now we are going to discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. So go to our pivot table number 6, and there, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So you'll be getting another pivot table naming called pivot table number 10. Pivot table number 10. Now, in pivot 10, you could see when I keep my cursor in the pivot table field list box on the right side, it is missing. So just right click on that to bring it back. Go to the extreme bottom. You have an option show field list, and you will be getting that same box available. Now from this table, you can remove salesperson records. So remove salesperson. So our pivot is ready. Okay. Now save all your files. Now let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot table. So far since afternoon, you would have seen what we have done. We have created many more pivot tables. So as a lame person, if you think about it, ideally we have created one pivot table in one Excel sheet, right? Now, what if you have multiple pivot table in one Excel sheet? How to present that story? If you have got multiple stories to be present at any point of time in one single interface, how to present that? We are going to discuss that. Okay. So we have got the table. So select that, copy the same, Control C, leaving one or two rows down, paste it. Leaving one or two rows down, paste it. So you can see that there are two pivot tables over here. So information wise, these two are same, but technically these are two different pivot tables. I repeat, information wise, both are same, but nature wise, these are two different pivot tables. So how to confirm that these are two different pivot tables? See, if you remember, I told you when we started our first pivot table, each and every pivot, they have their own unique name. So to explore that, keep your cursor anywhere in the first pivot table and right click on that. From the bottom, second option, pivot table options. When you click it, you will be finding a dialog box appears. Can you see one name is there in the box? Pivot table name. So here this name is defining your definition of your pivot table. So remember that name. It may be different or maybe same, don't worry. So for me, it is pivot one. I remember that. Now, same thing, go to below pivot table, right click and go for pivot table options. Is it giving a different name? Check it out, right? So for me, it is pivot 13. For you, it might be 20, 22nd, 25 or 30 could be the case. So don't worry. But now we are confirmed, though it is copied or pasted, but technically these are two different pivot tables. But there is no point having the same information in both the pivot tables. So go to the below one, keep your cursor there and do one thing, remove product description out of this and bring customer to the row area. So in the below pivot table, remove product description and bring customer into the row area. Now, to give a different feeling to the audience, you can keep your cursor on the pivot, go into design and change the colors. So now you see, is it different from the first pivot table? Yes, pretty easy to identify that. So one pivot table, product-wise last 3 years revenue data. The other pivot table, customer-wise last 3 years revenue data. So here, just have a basic understanding. I have taken maximum 12 to 15 customers data. If you see how many customers I have taken, maximum 16. But do you believe that in any organization or industry there is a restrictions or limitations about customers numbers? No way. It may be running in numbers. Now suppose say in my organization I may be dealing with 1000 customers. Now if I take customer into the row area, I'll be landing up with 1000 row items. Now how to express this entire 1000 row items in one pivot table? And apart from that, one more pivot is also there in the top, right? So this is not the right way to bring the field as it is and present it. And the reason is the data, whatever we are preparing, it is for the audience, not for us. But do you believe that audience has that much of time to go through your entire 1000 customers data? No way. So what audience is interested in watching? Top 10 customers, top 5 customers, they want to see that. And to make it happen, go to that customer filter and choose value filters. And there we have an option called top 10. So going to the customer filter from the below pivot table, right click. Well, I mean, in the customer filter, you will be getting a value filter within that top 10. And when you go for top 10, instead of 10, just make it to 5. You can change that in that box. Instead of 10, make it 5 and click OK. So you'll be finding your top 5 customers data will be visible on the screen. Kindly confirm all of you have got your top 5 customers data. Right? Now, once we have done with this, go to the first pivot table and there the product description one filter is there. There you go to that filter. value filter and go for top 10, instead go for 5. So top 5 products data for last 3 years revenue, top 5 customers data for last 3 years revenue, we have presented it, right? The two pivot tables are ready. Now, once we have done with this over here, take a look. In between our first and below pivot table, if you look at the unwanted, some rows are there. So leaving just one or two rows, kindly select the rest of rows and go for deleting the same. Okay. Now, once you delete the same over here, this window box pivot table fields doesn't play much role. You can remove it. Now keep your cursor in the first pivot table. Go to same pivot table, analyze. Okay. And then pivot chart. Nothing new. Same thing we did just 15 minutes back over there, if you look, remember. And then click OK. So you got one chart is ready over here instantly, right? So one pivot table, one pivot chart. We got these things in place. So leave some space from the data to the pivot data to the pivot chart and present it. Similarly, go to the below pivot table analyze, pivot chart, and just put it across in the same alignment, like same height, same width. Because these are the finishing look you have to always care for. So as I told you, when you have the chart in place, first thing what? Going to design, take the last tile, plus symbol, remove the grid lines. Similarly, the other chart, going to the design tab, take the last tile, and plus symbol, remove the grid lines. So we got two pivot table. Now two pivot charts also ready. Can you please confirm? So two pivot table, two pivot charts as discussed. Is it ready? Could you please confirm so that I can proceed? Great. Now once this is done, keep your cursor in the first pivot table and go to your analyze or pivot table analyze. And there you have an option called insert slicer, right? So go for insert slicer, and if you click it, it will take you to your slicers dialog box where suppose you want to analyze the data based on the regions. So I can go and select region Okay. And the moment you click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding your region slicer will be ready. You can resize that. We know how to do that. That is what we learned just in the previous worksheet. And if you want to do your further formatting, like going to slicer and change the colors, that also it's possible. So now you can notice we have two pivot table, we have a slicer, and we have to check with two pivot charts. Fine, perfect. Now here, this slicer over here, whatever the things, suppose you want to still further customize. See, I'll tell you one thing. The buttons, if you want to increase the height and all, you can increase the height over here. So this is your size. Now buttons height over here, this is your buttons height. Can you see? It is showing over here. So all these things, it's up to you to present it. You can work out on that. Now, take a look. Once my slicer is ready, if I go and check, suppose I want to see my UK data. If I go and click UK, what is happening? Only my first pivot table and first pivot chart is getting an impact. So what's the point below pivot table presenting something like this? It is not giving any kind of impact over there. So there is no point of static data over here. So what you can do, how to present it effectively, just see. This region slicer where region name is there, just right click on that area. In the region name, right click. You will be having a option over here naming called report connections. What is that? Report connections. So when you go for report connections, you will be finding a dialog box appears having the entire list of pivot, whatever we have over here. Okay. And you can notice whichever the pivot exactly it is connected to the slicer, that pivot only checkbox is on. So earlier one, if you see in pivot table 10, that is the sheet name. Over here, it is the sheet name. And name is pivot table 1, and we have explored that. And this is only connected. Yes. Now below 1, which what is the sheet name? Is pivot 10 only. So pivot 10 only, and the sheet name. The other pivot table number is pivot 13. So that checkbox only I have to activate. This is the only thing I have to do. Now click OK. And now see the beauty, any point of time, any country's data, say UK. So this is my top 5 products and top 5 customers of UK. If I want to see the data for Australia, so this is what the data of Australia. If I want to see the data of USA, this is the data of USA. Can you see? So when you go and present it, this is more or less like a BI model kind of feeling. You can give it to your data. And whoever is watching, they will be very much impressed and they will be appreciating your work. And trust me, people are going to ask a question. All these things you did in Excel because people believe this kind of data presentations only happens only if you have Power BI. So if you optimize the tool, use the tools properly, definitely you can also make things better in Excel. All right. So this is how we have understood how to connect multiple pivot table story and present it effectively in one window itself, one interface itself, and turn into beautiful presentations. So taking the live data, keep practicing people. All these things are going to help you as I told you. Okay. So any doubt, any queries from anybody? All right. So is it clear whatever we did? So are you getting more confidence to make your things better? Yeah, that's true, Sunil, because as I told you in the beginning itself, I can only tell you the proper procedures. I can tell you the best options, but to get a hang on those topics, you have to practice hard. That is for sure. So any doubt or queries from today, you can ask me, or anything from day one, day two also, you face some challenges and you want to clarify, that also you can do right now, no problem. But as I see, there is a lack of practice, people. Please mark my words. Do not just go for a ride or take it granted type. Some or the other, you will miss everything. So you have to devote time. When, how, where, that is up to you. You have to take your call. You have to plan your calendar and the time, and though it is in a weekend or weekday, whatever it is, but practice well. Fine. So kindly save all your workbooks, people. Okay. So this is it from our day three side. Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss our other formula and functions like logical, dashboard function, aggregate functions, and multiple criteria of VLOOKUP. And final topic will be charts and graphs. So that will be our tomorrow's agenda. Again, I request everyone, please log into the meeting time on time with day 4 link. Tomorrow's the last day. So if you have any queries also, you can bring it to the session. Do not worry. And as usual, you'll be getting the recordings. I'll be consolidating all the records day 1, day 2, day 3, maximum by 7:30 p.m. and make use of the inventory. Keep it with you. All right.
Thank you,
Fine.
sir.
So if there is no query, shall we call it as a day? Yeah.